What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am. And today I've got a story time for y'all about a kid who got stalked home by an emo classmate and ended up having to 1v1 him himself like an absolute unit. Before we get into it, press the like button, or no joke, no scan, and an emo kid is going to follow you home. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it.
Nice racking her ass Brazilian, just turned 21, but my bank's a million.
Alright guys, so like I said, this was a story time that was sent in to me about an emo kid who ended up beefing with the subscriber that sent this in and took things just way too far. But it all started this one day in English class that was a presentation day. I guess the subscriber was presenting something about his favorite music artist that was a rapper, you know. It was a project where you had to like make a presentation about somebody that inspired you and why they did that. And in the middle of his presentation, this emo kid that's named Danny just starts screaming about how, like, that's not real music, you're an idiot, you simply do not understand the way real music is supposed to be made. And obviously the subscriber is kind of like, alright, I don't like you. If you're trying to present something to the class and somebody starts screaming and saying that, like, rap isn't real music, it's just kind of not productive to your presentation. And on top of that, if it's like your favorite music artist, you're probably gonna just disagree with this statement. And I think that's just one of those things that you gotta chalk up to an opinion. You don't have to like rap music, dude, but it is music, you know. I'm not a giant fan of country music, but I'm not sitting here saying it doesn't exist. But on top of that, like, the project had taken a long time. This is something that they had been working on for an extended period. It was a pretty large portion of their grade. So the emo kid interrupting and, like, throwing off the entire tempo of the presentation actually could have had consequences for this person's grade. And on top of that, it's just rude, dude. Like, if I'm presenting something, don't interrupt and just start screaming over me. That's annoying, especially when your opinion just makes no sense. So obviously, he kind of snaps back at him and is like, oh, dude, you hate everything, so it's not like you would be able to comprehend when something is good in the first place. Which is pretty good. This emo kid, Danny, was kind of the type of person who just hated on everything for, like, no good reason. You ever been around somebody that just, like, insists on being negative and you're kind of like, okay, dude, we get it. You hate everything. Everything sucks after a little bit. Like, you just are talking about, man, I really like dolphins. And they're like, actually, dolphins will drown you if you swim too close to them. And you're like, okay. Well, in that case, then I guess I just like the ocean. Yeah, well, we're polluting the ocean to the point where microplastics are invading every fish species and we're all gonna die. Okay, well, I guess it's good that, like, you know, people are starting to do something about it, right? Yeah, but it's too little too late. Scientists say that climate change is gonna make the earth uninhabitable in the next 3 years. So whatever, we should all just die tomorrow. Ha 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 ha. You're like, bro, I'm not even saying that there's not real issues. Obviously, all those things exist. Those are real problems. But, like, somebody that just constantly has to hate on everything you say and say why it's stupid and sucks is just really annoying after a bit. You know, like that example I just used. You were just trying to say that you like dolphins, and now you ended up here. How did you end up here? I don't know. You were just trying to say you like dolphins. Well, regardless, it was a pretty funny comment about how, like, he just hates everything, and he did not necessarily like that because the class laughed at it. So he gets a little bit upset, and he gets up out of his chair and walks up to the subscriber and tries to press him a bit, you know? You want to take that back? I feel like you might want to take that back before I do something that's going to make you regret it. And, you know, as intimidating as he's trying to be, it's just not necessarily working because the subscriber's just, like, not afraid of him. And he says it to his face. You're just not scary. I'm not afraid of you, you know? And at that point, the teacher can see that this is going to a fight, especially after he says, like, I'm not afraid of you. The emo kid started to literally turn red, like anger from inside out. So the teacher walks up and gets between them and is like, okay, guys, go sit down. And the subscriber thinks that they're going to go their separate ways. So they go sit down and the class is kind of like whispering about how that was crazy and whatever. The bell rings and they go to walk out of class and go their separate directions, which is what you would expect. But the emo kid taps him on the shoulder after class, and when he turns around, he just goes, you're dead, bro. You're dead. You're dead, man. You're dead. And the subscriber is kind of like, what, you gonna fight me? You gonna fight me? And he's like, no, I'm not gonna fight you at school, dude. Trust me. I'm not gonna fight you here, but I'm gonna follow you home, and you're gonna have to deal with the consequences of getting me in trouble. No one's gonna disrespect me like that. And obviously the subscriber is kind of like, all right, bro, whatever. Kind of weird if you want to follow me home, but whatever floats your boat. Thinking that he's bluffing, because who would be creepy enough to actually follow somebody home like that, you know? Because on top of that, there were people around listening. So, like, the subscriber just thought that Danny was trying to play tough, act all hard in school to impress everybody and be like, yeah, I'm a pretty tough guy and I'm willing to follow people home and fight them. So he just kind of blew it off, thought he was being absolutely ridiculous because it sounds ridiculous. Regardless, this particular subscriber walks home. He's just one of the kids that do that. And so he starts his walk home as you would do. It's not like you're going to sit there and hang around the school trying to spend more time there. Let's be honest, you're trying to skedaddle as fast as humanly possible, be gone yesterday. So he's walking home with his AirPods in, not really paying attention. And he gets like 2 blocks into the neighborhood when he kind of gets this feeling like he's being watched. You know what I mean? That little feeling you get in the pit of your stomach where you just have this expectation that something bad is going on or like something's following you. He starts to get that. And so just to be careful, he takes out one AirPod and he turns around. And when he turns around, he sees Danny the emo kid probably about 500 feet back. And he like jumps into these bushes to try to hide like Homer Simpson. And I think in Danny's head, he was like, oh yeah, I made it into the bushes before he saw me all the way. But if you wait until they're already turned around to jump into the bushes, they're still gonna see you, you know? So it just doesn't really make sense. He just jumped into bushes for no reason. And at that point, he's like, okay, whatever. If he's gonna hide and like not confront me while he's following me, I'm just going to keep walking and like, you know, just see how long I can get him to keep following me. So he has one earpod out and he can hear him behind him, like his footsteps. And it sounds like this kid thinks he's like an international crime lord, like being a ninja, jumping from bush to bush, running from like light pole to light pole. The only problem is like he would hide behind a light pole. He's bigger than the light pole, so you can see him behind it type of vibe. All right, guys, I'm going to interrupt the video for a second. On screen now is a PlayStation gift card. I give away a gift card in every video I post as a way to say thank you to y'all for subscribing and turning on notifications. So if you haven't yet, you should do that. And yeah, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Press the like button. Your mom's a hoe. Let's get back to it. Anyways, like every couple streets, he would turn around and he's literally diving behind whatever's there. Like I said, light poles, trash cans, bushes, it doesn't matter. Danny is throwing himself behind them as fast as humanly possible. And on the last street before his real street, he doesn't want him to actually know like where he lives. So he turns around and 30 feet behind him is Danny with his clothes like all scraped up and dirty because he's just been diving behind trash cans for the last 15 minutes. And he's like, I told you I was gonna follow you home. Aren't you scared now? Trying to act all intimidating. Like I said, though, this guy had been listening to him dive behind bushes for a while and was like, this guy's so dumb. And on top of that, man, it's like, no, it's not really scary because you're weird for following me home. So he kind of says that. He's like, dude, you followed me home. Like, do you not understand how creepy and weird that is? Like, you literally stalked me home because you interrupted my presentation and I didn't like it. Like, do you not get how weird that is? Do you not get how creepy that looks? So at that point, the emo kid is kind of in shock, like crapping himself because he doesn't think that the kid's afraid of him anymore. I think his plan was like, all right, if I follow him home and then confront him before he gets home, he'll be like, wow, this guy really means business. And then he'll apologize and I won't actually have to do anything. But now he's kind of like, okay, I followed him home, but like, what are you going to do? Fight him? Like, what are you going to do? Put him in a trash can? No, I don't think he thought this far ahead. I think he just thought following him home was going to get an apology out of him. So the subscriber at that point is like, all right, so what are we going to do? Are we fighting? Like, what's going on? And he drops his backpack off of his back, which is basically the universal symbol of like, okay, if you want to fight me, let's fight. Which I think is fair. If you follow me home, then like, I'm assuming that you're trying to throw hands. If you're going to stalk me home, you're asking to fight. And on top of that, that's what you said you were going to do earlier. So let's make it happen. But once again, it's almost like the willingness of this guy to fight him kind of makes him think a little bit like, uh-oh. If someone's so confidently just like, okay, let's fight, chances are they think they're going to win and they're either really overconfident or they just know they're going to win. And I don't think this emo kid wanted to take the chance. But after a little bit, he realizes that he's like too far committed to back out now because he looks hesitant and then he drops into this like fighting stance that looks more like a confused bear, you know? Because it's this half wanting to fight, half just hoping his fighting stance intimidates him because he really doesn't want to fight this guy. And he starts kind of marching towards the subscriber to like, you know, intimidate him. And he's like, if you really want to fight, here we go. Here's your last chance to back out. And the subscriber is like, all right, man, let's go. Come on, you followed me home. Like, clearly you want to do this. Let's fight. And for the first time this interaction, the emo kid finally gets some nerve and just starts sprinting at the subscriber, right? And at this point, the subscriber is like, okay, he's trying to attack me. And he grabs his backpack off the ground with one hand, swings it, and just hits the emo kid in the head. And he drops to the ground and he's like, dude, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why? Why, man? You hit me with your backpack. Why would you do that? And he's like, dude, you followed me home and were just sprinting at me to attack me. What are you talking about? And he's like, yeah, but you didn't need to hit me so hard, bro. What the heck? What the heck, man? You didn't need to hit me with your backpack. And the subscriber is just confused. So he asks him, he's like, were you not just about to attack me? He goes, no, I was, but you didn't need to hit me with your backpack. And the subscriber just can't believe how stupid that sentence is, right? Like, let's really put that in perspective. Yes, I was about to hit you, but why did you hit me? So much for like hating life, being a tough guy, nothing can get you emotional than like crying because somebody hit you with a backpack. And listen, I bet you it hurt, but like, what do you expect when you follow somebody home and then try to attack them? Lucky you didn't have mace on them or something. You know what I mean? Like, this to me is just playing the game that you like, okay, let's see how stupid I can be before somebody hits me with the backpack. The answer is this stupid. If you follow somebody home, there's a good chance they might hit you with the backpack, all right? Anyways, the emo kid keeps trying to get him to apologize. He's like, I think you should at least apologize for hitting me with the backpack. And he's like, no, I don't regret hitting you with the backpack. You should apologize for following me home. And they're kind of going back and forth like that for a little bit until the emo kid realizes like he's really not going to apologize because he doesn't feel bad for hitting him with the backpack, which, in my opinion, maybe shouldn't. And the emo kid tries to turn it into like him winning. He's like, well, I hope you learned your lesson, I hope you learned not to mess with me. And the subscriber is like, dude, the only lesson I learned is that you're really weird and that like you will literally follow people home if they beef with you at all over something that was your fault. Because I'll be honest, man, I don't think the lesson he learned was like what you expected him to learn. I think in all seriousness, you just look like somebody that followed somebody home and then cried when they like hit you with the backpack. I think that was the lesson that we all learned from this. I don't think everyone's like, whoa, better not mess with that guy. I mean, maybe they do, because I don't think most people want to be followed home. That's fair. That's fair. Seriously, though, I will say following somebody home to teach them a lesson just makes you worse in this scenario, so I wouldn't recommend it. That's the moral of the story. And to make things even better, dude, the emo kid, like, avoided eye contact for the rest of the year after that because he was so afraid of what happened. So much for being Mr. Tough Guy. Regardless, guys, I think that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, press the like button, comment down below, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you really want to help me out, I'll put a link to the intro song down below, along with a link to my podcast, The Scuffed Cast, or you could use code SCRUBBY at the G Fuel checkout. I would really appreciate it. Beyond that, two more things that I gotta shout out. I did put some of my story times up on Spotify. That link's gonna be in the description. Be sure to check it out. And we've got the Karen Christmas sweater, which is going to be the top link in the description. Be sure to check it out if you want to support me and get festive. But yeah, on that note, guys, that'll do it. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time. I'm out. Peace.